So for this video, we're going to be talking about how to get your film out of this lovely film container and into a tank for developing. So with film, we do have this handout that you'll be able to look at and kind of see step by step the entire process of getting your film out. So we'll kind of walk through it. But all of these steps have to be done in complete darkness. So because of that, you will be using something called a changing bag. Okay, so this is a changing bag. It might be a little hard to see in the video because of the size, but it basically looks like a black shirt that has no opening for your head or neck. This consists of two bags. So it's an outer bag and an inner bag. And they're one inside the other, and each one zips up. Okay, so what you're going to end up doing is you're going to be taking all of the appropriate equipment, and you're going to be putting it inside the inner bag. And you're going to zip, and then your arms are going to go in reverse into the arm sleeves. Okay. So one arm goes in one sleeve, one arm goes in the other sleeve. Okay, and you're going to be doing everything. So opening up your canister, getting it on the reel, getting it in the tank. You're going to do all of that inside this black bag. This is completely dark, completely black. No light is getting in, so your film will be nice and safe. Okay. It is important that when you're using the changing bag, that once your film is open inside the changing bag, you do not pull your arms out. If you have to pull your arms out for any reason, I will show you kind of what to do to kind of prevent your film from getting exposed. Okay. But your film right now is living in its nice little home in its little canister. So we're going to go through kind of the process of taking that out. So for developing, you're going to need all of these pieces of equipment. Okay? So you got your film. Okay, so super easy, your film. You'll need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a lid, okay, which looks like this. A funnel, which looks very similar to the funnels you might have at home in the kitchen. A reel, and this is what your film is actually going to go on. A stem, and the tank itself. Okay, so all of this goes inside of that black changing bag. Okay, so you put everything in, make sure you're putting it inside the inner bag. Zip, put your arms inside. Okay, so our first step, so our step one is going to be opening up your film. So with your film, it only opens up one way. So one side has kind of this textured bumpiness to it. Okay, that's your cap. And all you have to do is turn it and it just unscrews. Super, super easy. If you try to unscrew the wrong side, you won't be able to do it because there is literally nothing there to unscrew. Okay, so it's just the one side. Just unscrew it, cap comes off. From there, your film is exposed. Okay, so if any light were to hit it, it would be completely dark, garbage, not usable. Okay, so once you have this cap off, you for sure cannot take your arms out of the bag. Do not take your arms out of the bag. Okay, so because any light will completely damage your film. Okay, so step one, unscrew. Step two, you're gonna pull the film out of the canister. So for that, just can pull the little tab, or from the other side, you can kind of push your finger in, okay, and your film will just come out like that. And it'll do a little slight unraveling, which is totally fine. But you want to try to keep your film as contained as possible. You want to resist the urge to completely unravel it because it can get bent, it can get ripped, it could get fingerprints all over it. So you kind of want to keep it in its nice little wrapped up cocoon. Okay. If at some point you did need to take your arms out and your film is out in the open like this, best thing to do is to just take your film, put it in the tank, put the lid on top, okay? And now your film is in this light safe, complete darkness space, and then you can pull your arms out. Okay, so worst case scenario, if you need to take your arms out for any reason, just stick your film in the tank, put the lid on top. So, your film has this leader on it. Okay, so this is what we used to kind of load your film into the camera. So it's great for that. But when we try to put our film onto our reel, that little leader is going to make things a little bit trickier. So what we're going to end up doing is cutting off that leader. Okay, and this is where the scissors come into play. Okay? So what I like to do is I like to kind of hold my film, pointer, middle finger, kind of at the end of my leader, and then thumb and ring finger, kind of where the leader ends. And then I'm just going to use the scissors to cut. Okay? In all my years teaching, I have yet to have a student cut their finger. It's never happened. Okay? So just be cautious. It always freaks students out. I have to cut something in a bag and I can't see anything. Just use common sense. Okay? If you're cutting, cut slow. And if you happen to feel the scissors touching your fingers, don't continue cutting. Okay? Just move the scissors over. Okay? And then slowly cut. So you're really just cutting that little bit off. So it's okay if you cut a little bit more. The first 4-ish inches of film is just dark anyway, because that's what we were using to load the film into the camera. So there's no actual pictures there. So don't be afraid that you're gonna cut your first picture off, because that's not gonna happen. Your first picture doesn't start till way, way later. Okay? So you just cut that little leader off. Okay? From there, you're gonna be handling your film a little bit more. I suggest holding it by the edges. You do wanna prevent getting fingerprints all over where your actual pictures are. So by kind of holding the edges of your film, it kind of helps prevent that from happening. Okay. So next up, we are going to feed your film into the reel. So this is our reel. Okay, it's this little plastic piece that does a little slight twist, twist, twist. Okay, this twisting motion is what helps move the film onto the reel. So the film is going to end up circling in here and spiraling around and around and around, kind of like a snail's shell. It's just going to spiral in. The reel will allow the film to have gaps between it, so the film will not be touching at any point. This allows all of our developing chemicals to coat and expose both sides of your film. If I were just to stick my film into the tank like this, and the film is touching in all different parts, so those areas would not get any chemicals, those would not get developed. You would have something called kiss marks, which sounds like a nice thing, but it's not for film. So the reel we really need, because that's what allows that space in between. So with the reel, you're going to locate this little area that has these two little triangles. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of slide the film in just so you can see them a little bit better. Okay, so there's these two little triangles. I like to think of them as vampire teeth. So you kind of just have to feel around for those little points. Okay, if you see that those little triangles, little vampire teeth, are not lined up, all you have to do is twist just to line them up. Okay, so what you'll end up doing is when they're all lined up, you're going to carefully take your foam, you're going to slide it underneath. So kind of just what I've been doing. So it just slides right under. And then you're going to pull your film a little bit. So there are these little ball bearings on either side. So you kind of pull your film past those ball bearings just a little bit, just about an inch, inch and a half. And those ball bearings kind of go into the sprocket holes and help feed and move the film across. So film underneath the lined up vampire teeth, pull it a little bit past the ball bearings. From here, I like to have the film facing me. I'll put my hands on either side. I put my thumbs on the vampire teeth. And that really is to kind of help secure the film to make sure it doesn't pop out. Okay? And then I'm just going to twist, 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 twist. And as I'm twisting, the film is moving. The film is getting wound around and around and around into my reel. Okay? And eventually, I will get to the end of my film. Okay? And the film is going to be attached to this little spool. Okay? If your film pops out at any point, or if it gets stuck or jammed and it isn't winding anymore, you have to just kind of gently pull your film out and start all over again. Okay? But be careful that once again, you're not touching the actual surface of your film. You're kind of just touching those edges. Okay. So we'll go line up the vampire teeth, then slides under, pull past the ball bearings, and then twist, 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 twist. Our rolls of film are not very long. If you were to have a longer roll of film of 24 pictures or 36 even, it would just wind for a much longer time. So from here, our film is just attached to the stem with some masking tape. In the handout, it says to cut it off the spool, but you don't have to. You can just easily rip the masking tape off and be done with it. You don't have to peel the tape off. The tape won't affect your film. It won't do anything to it. It'll be totally fine. Okay, so you just rip it off and all is good. So from here, you're going to place your stem in the reels. So this is our stem. Okay, so this goes into the hole that's in the reel, and it just goes in one way. If you try to put it in the other way, it won't fit. Okay, so it just goes in one way. You want to make sure you push the film all the way to that bottom edge, because when you're putting your film into the tank, you have to make sure that you're doing it the correct way. So when your film goes inside the tank, you want to make sure that it is at the bottom of the tank. If you put it in upside down, you're going to have all of this empty space at the bottom of the tank. And the problem here is the chemicals. When we're pouring in chemicals, you're really just filling half of the tank. So if your film is in the top half, it's not going to be getting into those chemicals for a very long time. Okay, so your film just won't develop properly. So you want to make sure that your film is at the bottom of your tank, so that way it's submerged in those chemicals the whole time. Okay, so your film and stem just slides right in like that. From there, you're going to take the funnel, and you're going to place it in and lock it. Okay, so the way this looks is the funnel goes into the stem like that. So liquid goes in the funnel, goes down through the stem, and it comes out from the bottom. Okay, light is not able to get in through that path. Okay, the funnel, when it's in the tank, makes it completely dark, completely light safe. Okay, so only liquid is able to kind of filter through. Okay, so film goes in, then your funnel, and you want to make sure that you twist and lock it. So you want to hear that pop, that click, that lock, okay? So that's gonna make sure that your funnel is locked in place. In the chemical video, I've frequently talked about checking your funnel. Check your funnel, check your funnel, make sure it's locked. As you're kind of agitating your tank, the funnel might loosen a little bit. So as you're pouring your chemicals out, you want to make sure that the funnel stays in place. And if the funnel is not locked in and you go to pour stuff out, all your film's going to just fall right out, which will be a bad thing. Your film can fall in the chemicals. You'll freak out. I'll freak out. I'm going to shove my entire arm into the chemicals. And I really don't like doing that. So just make sure that you are checking and locking your funnel at all times. And then from there, your lid goes on top and you make sure that you seal it up. Okay? Make sure you put your name on a piece of tape and you put it on the tank. Everyone's tanks are going to look the same, so you really want to make sure that you know whose is whose and which one is yours. Because you are all going to be starting at different times. You're going to be in different places, different chemicals. So you just really want to make sure you keep track of which tank is yours. As far as our little canister, okay, you will be returning this. Okay, so you're going to be returning all 3 pieces to me. Okay, your canisters are numbered. I will know if you do not return it. Okay, so I suggest just putting it back together, all 3 pieces. Okay, and now you'll have a box on my desk for you to just place those in, because I will be reloading your canisters with more film for our next shooting assignment. Okay, so that gets returned. Don't forget the scissors. Take out the scissors and please put them back. And then if you happen to find the leader, okay, throw that out as well. And that is getting our film out of our canister into our tank for developing.